All right, let's dive into Khushwant Singh's incredible story, The Portrait of a Lady. This one, it's really personal. It's all about his relationship with his grandmother and how that beautiful bond changes, like really changes, as their lives go in completely different directions. So, let's get into it.
So, this story really gets you thinking about something pretty big, right? How do our relationships, how do they survive when the worlds of two people just drift apart? Think about it. You were once super close with someone, and now things are different. That's the journey we're going on today, looking through the narrator's eyes at this beautiful, complicated picture of love and time.
All right, so let's start where the narrator himself starts, with this memory of his grandmother as this totally constant, almost legendary figure in his life. You know, a woman who felt like she was beyond time itself.
It's funny, the narrator says the idea of his grandmother ever being young and pretty was almost revolting. Now, he doesn't mean it in a gross way. It's more like he just couldn't wrap his head around it. For the entire 20 years he'd known her, she had always been the same. Same wrinkles, same calm vibe. She was like the North Star in his life, just always there.
Wow. I mean, what a line, right? Like the winter landscape in the mountains. This is just perfect. The author isn't getting hung up on her looks, on the wrinkles. He's showing us her soul. Comparing her to this huge, quiet, snow-covered scene, it perfectly captures that sense of spiritual peace she had. She wasn't just an old woman. She was literally a source of calm for him. And her whole life was basically a walking, breathing prayer. I mean, think about this routine. She's always in spotless white, one hand steadying herself, the other always busy with her rosary beads. And her lips constantly moving, whispering prayers nobody else could hear. This wasn't just something she did, this was who she was. It showed this incredible faith and discipline she had. But, of course, things don't stay the same. The real heart of this story is about change, and that change kicks off when they're pulled out of their perfect village life. This is the first big crack in their relationship. And you can really see how the distance between them grows over time. Look at this. In the village, they were joined at the hip. She was everything to him. Then they moved to the city. Okay, still sharing a room, but suddenly they have separate lives, right? Different schools, different things going on. And by the time he gets to university, boom, the narrator says that common link of friendship was snapped. It's the slow fade from being one unit to, well, two people living separate lives. I mean, just try to picture that village life for a second. She wasn't just some grandma in the background. She was his alarm clock. She got his stuff ready for school. She walked him there every single day. Their lives were totally woven together. And get this, while he was in school learning, she'd be right there in the temple, reading scriptures. It was their own little world. And Khushwant Singh points to the exact moment everything changed. He calls it a turning point. That's it, the move to the city. That one single event just completely changed the path of their friendship forever. It was the start of a new reality where that perfect bond they had, well, it just couldn't survive in the same way.
And so in that city apartment, a quiet battle begins. Yeah, they're sharing a room, but they're living in completely different universes. It's the old world of tradition bumping right up against the new world of modernity.
And here you can really see the split. Her world? It's all about scriptures, God, faith, the temple school. His world? It's becoming about English, science, taking a motor bus, learning about the law of gravity. And then, music lessons. For her, music was something for beggars and, well, not for respectable people. So how could he even talk to her about his day anymore? She couldn't understand it. And honestly, she didn't approve of it.
And this is so important. She didn't yell or argue. She just went quiet. Her silence was her way of showing she didn't approve. You could feel her disappointment that his new school had nothing to do with God or scriptures. And after those music lessons started, the narrator says she rarely talked to me after that. That silence says everything.
So, moving into the last part of the story, her silence starts to change. It's less about disapproval and more about a kind of quiet acceptance. And this leads us to the really powerful end of her life.
So when the narrator goes off to university, giving her her own room, she doesn't get bitter or angry. She just accepts this new solitude with a kind of resigned dignity. And in that quiet, she finds a new joy. Her happiest time of day became that half hour she spent feeding the sparrows. She's surrounded by what the narrator calls a veritable bedlam of chirpings. All these little birds became her new companions.
And then he's about to leave for 5 years. 5 years. And her reaction is just pure strength. No tears, no big emotional goodbye. She's just lost in her prayers. The only thing that happens is a silent kiss on his forehead.
And for him, that one little touch, it meant everything. He holds on to it, thinking it might be the very last physical contact they ever have.
But he comes back, and when he does, something totally out of character happens, something that has never happened before. For the first time ever, she stops praying. Instead, she gets all the neighborhood women together, finds an old drum, and just starts singing songs about warriors returning home. It's this amazing burst of joy to celebrate him being back, but you also kind of get the feeling it's a final, powerful act.
And that brings us to the end of the story, which is just unforgettable. The true measure of her gentle soul isn't shown by people, but by all those sparrows she became friends with.
This final scene is just so powerful. After she passes away, thousands of sparrows show up. But instead of all that noise they usually made, nothing. Total silence. The narrator's mom feels sorry for them and throws out some bread, just like the grandmother used to. And the sparrows, they don't even look at it. They weren't there for food. They were there to grieve.
So, in the end, the sparrow's sadness is really the ultimate tribute to her life. It's like her quiet, constant love created a connection so deep that even the natural world could feel it. Their silent mourning is a perfect reflection of that unspoken love that was always there between her and her grandson, even when their worlds pulled them apart. Which really leaves us with this one big question, doesn't it? Can love actually exist without words? I mean, all through this story, as conversations stopped and their lives went in different directions, the love was still there. From her quiet disapproval to the sparrow's silent goodbye, this story really makes you wonder if maybe, just maybe, the deepest connections don't need words at all. Something to think about for sure.